Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mindful Homestead. My name is Jack, and who are you?
Emma.
This is Emma. A little bit different video today. Normally we take you around the farm, we show you what we're doing, and today there's not much going on. It's sunny out, it's just about 30 degrees. Emma wanted to come out and play around in the snow a little bit. And I thought, since a lot of our most viewed videos lately have been about raising pigs on pasture, I would do a little bit of a video for people who may be new to raising pigs this year, and maybe, you know, it's January, you're looking for your pigs for this spring, you're starting to talk to breeders or people that are supplying feeder pigs. And I just wanted to put a video out there giving you a little bit of some info and things to think about. Because this is more of a talking video though, and not necessarily a doing video. Oh, it's windy. And it's super windy out. So, Emma, let's go to the backyard. Because it's windy. Yep. Oh, careful. All right, it's way better back here. I think that's a good. So yeah, just a heads up. This video is going to be more on the educational side and a little bit less on the vloggy, warm, fuzzy, farm animal feelings video side of things. I've got a video that talks about the things you want to make sure you have kind of lined up before you bring pigs onto your homestead. I'll link that one up here in the corner. This video is more going to center on what you should be looking for if you're going to be bringing feeder pigs onto your small farm or homestead, with the stipulation that feeder pigs are pigs that you are raising not for breeding purposes. Typically the females will be intact, but the males will be neutered before you get them. These are pigs that you're planning to bring onto your small farm or homestead, raise for anywhere from 5 to 10 months, and then process and, you know, move on with whatever you're going to do next. That could be taking the winter off from pigs like we do. We don't raise pigs through the winter. Or for some people that have more production-oriented farms, that could mean bringing more pigs on once the first batch of pigs is processed. Because of the turnaround time on feeder pigs, I'm going to concentrate on breeds like Yorkshire, Duroc, Berkshire, Hampshire. I'm not going to talk about breeds like American Guinea Hog, Kune, Mangalitsa. Idaho pasture pigs could kind of go either way. My main take on it is that if you're raising feeder pigs, you're really looking for a faster turnaround time, and those breeds have much longer grow outs that don't really lend themselves to being profitable feeder pigs. They're definitely more on the specialized side of things. So the first things first, where are you going to find your feeder pigs? Your biggest source, and where I've kind of had luck over the years, has actually been Craigslist, believe it or not. If you go on Craigslist around this time of year in January, you know, you're right in the middle of where pigs are pregnant. So people are going to be listing upcoming litters that they have. They're going to say piglets are going to be available on this particular date. Facebook, even though you're not technically allowed to sell animals on Facebook, it's kind of like a weird gray area where they don't really like it, but a lot of times these sales slip through. You can find them for sale on Facebook. I have before in the past. I've also networked with farms on Facebook that I know raise pigs. The reason why we're kind of looking right now is we had a great farm that we were able to get our piglets from the last few years.
Dog kicks.
And that farmer has since retired. So we are now on the search again, looking for piglets, and I've been kind of keeping an eye on Craigslist and Facebook. Those have been my two biggest ones. I've got a few leads kind of nailed down that I think I'm going to go with, but for those of you still looking out there, there are still piglets available right now. So check Craigslist, check Facebook. You can weed out a lot of the bad ones right on the internet just by looking at them and seeing kind of any pictures they might have posted. Once you hammer down the breeds that you're looking at, and once you hammer down kind of what you're looking for in terms of numbers, that's when you get on Craigslist, get on Facebook, start looking around and see what you can find. Once you get to the farm where you're potentially buying your piglets from, that's when you need to start getting pretty picky. First and foremost, take a look at the farm, look at their generalized cleanliness practices, how they raise their animals, how you think they treat their animals, any biosecurity measures that the farmer has mentioned to you beforehand. But if they have biosecurity practices in place, then you know that the pigs that they're raising are going to be healthy because they haven't inadvertently brought anything onto their farm that could make the pigs sick that you're going to be getting from them, if that makes sense. Personally, I prefer if I can meet the breeding stock on the farm and see the parent stock. Some farms are not going to let you do that, or they'll have the piglets in another area from the parent stock, and they might be a little bit leery of letting you back there to go see the breeding stock. Biosecurity reasons, that actually would be a positive. If it seems like they're trying to keep the breeding stock from you, that could be a red flag that they might not treat their animals as well as they claim to. I like to ask the farmer questions about the parent stock, what their worming regimens are like. Are the animals pasture raised? Have the piglets been exposed to pasture at all? And those questions will lead into questions you should be asking about the overall health of the piglets as well. Questions you always want to ask right off the bat. Have the piglets been wormed? You want piglets that have been wormed. Have the piglets been given an iron shot? I like to always hear it, even if the piglets have been exposed to pasture. If the piglets have been out on pasture and they can eat fresh dirt, the iron shot is a little bit less of an issue, but it doesn't hurt for piglets to get an iron shot, even if they've been out on pasture. So you've asked the farmer these questions, you know if the piglets have been wormed, if they've had iron, if they've been on pasture. Now it kind of comes down to you to do your own sort of visual assessment on the piglets and determine if there's something you want to purchase. The big ones I look for personally, I look for any deformities, any super small piglets kind of right off the bat. Anyone that might be a runt, you don't want to be feeding runts because they're not going to grow up into the big pigs that you want to put in your freezer. That seems pretty obvious. But some of the things that don't necessarily stick out as much that you want to be paying attention to, you want to be looking for any swollen joints. Infectious arthritis is an issue with pigs and piglets. Mycoplasmal arthritis is a thing. It needs to be treated. If left untreated, it can cause issues for the pigs later in life where they're not able to get around as efficiently as they grow in size. Typically, the easiest places for you to see that are going to be on the rear joints of the pig and the legs, front joints as well. You're really just looking for any swelling there. Non-symmetry, if the right side looks different from the left side, but typically it could be on both sides. That's a big one for me. If I see swollen joints on a pig I'm interested in buying, at the very least, I'm going to ask about it, what's going on. If it's something that the farmer is kind of upfront and says they've treated for, not necessarily as big of an issue, but if there's any level of shade about it or any level of doubt in your head about the health of that piglet, just don't buy it. Another important thing to be on the lookout for is any skin lesions or abscesses or major cuts or bumps or scrapes or anything you see that could potentially be signs of bigger issues. Abscesses, obviously, piglets do get them every now and again. We've had them in the past on piglets after we brought them back to the farm. Those sort of things can happen. But there's a whole lot of skin conditions out there that, beyond just being kind of general injuries or infections, could be signs of worse illness in an animal. Greasy pig is one of the big ones here. There's plenty of pictures out on the internet. You can see of what this looks like. In some cases, it can look just as simple as like a dry, scaly skin, but in many cases, it can lead to much worse infections down the road and other health complications, which for feeders, you don't necessarily want to be dealing with. You want your feeder pigs to essentially grow out as quickly and easily as possible. Once you've ruled out any major issues with the piglets, you want to check their just overall health, their attitude, their mindset. If you're looking for feeder piglets, you're really looking for piglets that have just been weaned, and they're going to be between 8 and 12 weeks old typically. That would put them in between, I would say, 40 and 65 pounds. You don't want them underweight because then they're going to have a hard time switching to feed. You don't necessarily want them too freshly weaned for the same reason. A lot of times some farmers will say, yeah, they're weaned, and really what they've done is they've just kind of ripped them off of mom and put mom somewhere else. You want piglets that are accustomed to dry feed. Look around the barn, look around the stall. You want to make sure that they have feed out for the piglets and that the piglets are eating it, not just piglets that are essentially starving because they haven't been getting milk. And this one is kind of on me and something I look for, but I like my piglets to be socialized. Not necessarily social, because piglets are not necessarily going to run right up to you as a new person and say, hey, pet me, love me, squeeze me, feed me. You know, they're not like puppies in that regard. They're like puppies in a lot of other regards, but not like that. But I want my piglets to come from a place where I know the farmer has spent time with them. I know the farmer has accustomed them to human beings being around and providing feed. That's one of the things that's made looking for piglets this year so tough, because we had a really good relationship with the guy we were buying piglets from before. We knew the piglets were awesome. We knew he socialized with them. We knew he took care of them. And now it feels like we're kind of starting that process all over. And it's been a little bit tricky for us. So that was the impetus behind me wanting to make this video, because now I'm remembering how hard it can be to find good feeder piglets. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have never even raised piglets before, and they may be looking for them this spring. So that's it. That's what I got for you today. If you like this video and you want to see more about what we're doing on the homestead, slightly more vloggy content, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We do these educational videos pretty frequently, but we also sprinkle in a lot of just like, this is what we're doing and how we're doing it. But we would appreciate you hitting that subscribe button if you want to see more. Otherwise, as always, I thank you for watching and hope you're having a great day. Bye.